The Forbidden Forest. In a land surrounded by black mountains, there was a forest no one dared enter after sunset. Not because wild animals prowled there, not because the trees whispered strange languages in the wind, but because people said fear itself lived there. Children were warned. Hunters avoided the paths. Soldiers who had fought wars and conquered kingdoms would turn back before reaching its edge. The forest was alive, but not with life. It breathed shadows. It whispered secrets. And it tested the mind of anyone who dared to step inside. Yet, there was one man who walked into that forest every night. No one knew his name. No one ever claimed to have seen his face. They only called him the Silent One. He carried no army, no shield, no sword, only discipline, only resolve, only himself. Some said he had once been afraid like everyone else. Afraid of pain, afraid of failure, afraid of the unknown. But instead of fleeing, he chose to meet fear head-on, because he understood a truth few ever learn. Fear does not disappear in comfort. It disappears in confrontation. Part to the first night. The first night he entered the forest, the air was thick with mist. The moon was a pale crescent, barely visible through the twisted branches. The leaves rustled like whispers. Branches clawed at his clothes. Shadows shifted, forming shapes that resembled faces or worse, monsters. His heart raced, his mind screamed to turn back. But he didn't. He stepped forward, one foot, then another. Cold rain cut across his skin. Stones tore at his feet. Each step was a lesson, each pain a teacher. And with every heartbeat, he repeated to himself, "I will not run. I will meet it. I will survive it. I will master it." Part 3. The Philosophy of Pain. Pain is not just physical. It is mental, emotional, spiritual. The Silent One understood that most people fear the pain of the mind more than the pain of the body. Every night, he tested his limits. He ran through the forest blindfolded, feeling the trees with his hands. He balanced on narrow logs over chasms. He sat in frozen rivers until his teeth chattered. He allowed himself to bleed, to hunger, to ache, and he kept moving. Each trial, no matter how small or brutal, taught him something. The body is fragile. The mind is fragile. But the spirit of the spirit can endure. Heart for shadows and illusions. The forest was never still. It was a living maze. Sometimes he would see figures moving just beyond the fog. Shadows that seemed human but vanished when approached. Sometimes he would hear screams but no one was there. Sometimes he would feel a hand brush his shoulder but he was alone. He learned not to panic. He learned to observe. He learned that fear is often an illusion, but the courage to face it is real. Fear is a shadow. Courage is the light that moves through it. Part 5. Years of silence. Years passed. Days blurred into nights, nights into months. No one came to witness his trials. No one applauded his victories. No one even knew he existed. But he grew, stronger, sharper, calmer. Pain became a companion. Fear became a teacher. Loneliness became a mirror to his own mind. He trained in silence because he understood a secret most people never grasp. Discipline does not thrive in comfort. Strength does not grow in applause. True mastery comes in solitude. Part 6. The Village and the War. One night, the village below the Black Mountains awoke to fire. Not a small flame, but an inferno. Enemies had arrived when the villagers were weakest. Soldiers panicked. Civilians fled in terror. And from the forest a figure emerged. He did not shout. He did not run. He moved with calm, purpose, precision. The villagers watched in awe. Not because he was fearless, but because he had already met fear every night. He had trained his mind to remain steady when the world trembled. The enemies felt it instantly. Not anger, not rage, but presence. A force that was quiet and yielding and stoppable. Like standing before a storm that does not roar. It simply exists, and all around it bends. Part 7. The battle. The battle was swift. The Silent One did not fight with rage. He fought with awareness. Every movement, every step, every strike was deliberate. Enemies fell not because of anger, but because of his mastery of himself. Chaos surrounded him, but he moved as water flows through rocks, effortless, unstoppable, precise. When the smoke cleared, the attackers were gone. The villagers emerged from hiding, trembling, thankful, searching for their savior. He was gone, back into the forest. Part 8. Lessons of the Silent One. The villagers finally understood. He had not trained to save them. He had trained to master himself. And in that realization, they learned what he had silently lived by for years. Comfort makes you weak. Struggle makes you strong. Fear is not the enemy. Avoidance is. The greatest war is always within. Some say he still trains in the forest night after night. Not to fight enemies. Not for glory. Not for recognition. He trains to remain stronger than his own mind. Because mastery is not given. It is earned in blood, sweat, and the quiet hours when no one is watching. Part 9. The Silent Philosophy. The Silent One's philosophy was simple, yet profound. Fear is a teacher. 2. Comfort is a trap. 3. Pain is a companion. 4. Discipline is freedom. 5. The mind is your battlefield. He learned to embrace discomfort, to welcome struggle, to endure the night, the storm, the darkness, because each trial forged a stronger mind, a stronger body, a stronger soul. A man who fears nothing outside still fears everything inside. The Silent One feared nothing because he had already conquered the world within. Part 10. The Eternal Journey. The Silent One did not seek fame. He did not seek followers. He did not seek applause. He walked into the forest because life demanded mastery, because fear demanded confrontation, because the world would never stop testing him. And so he continues there, alone, silent, steadfast, facing shadows that would crumble ordinary men, meeting every fear and letting it teach him, because the greatest war is never outside, it is always within, and those who master the storm inside themselves will never be shaken by the storms outside.